Hello and welcome to North Star Stamper. I'm Sue Kremer. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Minnesota. So the last two Wednesday videos were talking about punches, layering them and double punching and expanding them. I'll try to remember to link to those two videos in the description of this video. But all those things I shared about punches you can also do with dies. So let's get busy. I have lots to show you. I'm going to try to keep this quick. Okay, so on the front of the mini catalog that just started yesterday, if you can see in the background here, this is pattern paper behind, and then the red die cut came from the seasonal labels dies, and they used this big one. So here's our die cut from Designer Series paper, and here's a die cut from the out of red, real red cardstock. And what they did was they cut their pattern paper, and then they just layered it. I probably have too much adhesive on there, but that's okay. You get the idea. And then that's how they got that label. So it's just the same label cut a second time and cut. We've done that many times. Tailor Tag Bunch is my favorite to do that. Okay, so that's the layering. You can also, let's see how this goes back together. You can double punch or double die cut. My video last week was double punching. So there's our die cut. Oh, sorry. Let me move back into focus a little, so you can see me a little better. So I die cut it once, and then I ran it through my machine a second time and cut that much off. And now I have a smaller label that would fit. Let's say that brown is our label. I think I was off center a little bit, so the edges look a little funny, but that gives you the idea that you can double die cut and use, layer it that way. So I have a few more ideas, so let's keep moving. Let's say you have, and this is actually the case, I want to use this, hope things get better soon. I have somebody going in for surgery next week, and I want to make him a card. So let's say I know exactly, that's pretty good. I'm going to use my mini machine. Hopefully you can see. All right. So I'm going to cut this once with this end exactly where I want it. Let's use some washi tape just to hold it in place. Oh, come on. This is the only problem with this machine. Let me get rid of this. I think that's part of the problem. If the layers aren't lined up just so, I have trouble getting it started. There we go. So that's too long. I don't want it that long for my card. So I'm going to die cut a second time. I'm going to, let's see, maybe if I do it sideways a little bit. Doing this, you want to make sure these edges here and here are lined up just right. And then we'll run it through the machine again. If I stagger my plates on this mini machine, it feeds through much better. And so that's what it was, and then after I die cut it, that one's ready to go. Okay, I have one more thing to show you, so that's making it shorter. How about making it longer? Obviously, I can't feed, I don't know if you remember, I measured how wide my punch was, and then I fed it through. You can do the same thing with your die. So there's two ways you can do this. I measured how wide this die cut was, and I'm going to put my cardstock that I cut just ever so slightly narrower, and then I can make a piece to go on a card that way. See, this is only that long, but I wanted it as long as a card front. So I'm going to put that in there and run it through, and you can see that. So well, I better show you, because there is a little trick to it. Okay. Pull this back out. So plate. And I'm only going to feed through the machine from here to here. If I go here, I would get a ridge here. It won't cut because the cardstock is above the, let's see, it's feeding through nicely. I'm going to stop there and then go back. And you'll see that it just cut the end. I'm going to turn it around and cut the other end. And feed this through. Sorry if this is getting longer, this video. I do have one more way to show you. Because what if your die cut isn't straight on these edges? Let's see. No. I need to stop and think. So I want it under the cut edge. I'm going to pull it all the way back. I'm going to feed it through the machine and just run from here to about here. I just don't want to go to this edge because I would get a ridge there. So I find it works best if I stagger my plates. But I do need to get them going. All right, so I can hear the crunch, so I know it cut something. I'm going to go back. And there's my long banner that will fit on a card front. All right, I have one more to show you. So this was from the Stitch So Sweetly dies. Let's find so many things on my table. All right, I'm going to find a piece of cardstock. This one will work. Let me tilt this so you can see. So I'm going to, again, cut one end. I'm not going to cut the, if I cut the whole thing, I would get that size rectangle. Where did my last piece go? So if you don't put your plate there, you can run the whole thing through. I will actually do that. Because it is only going to cut where, as they say, the sandwich. So this thickness is the right thickness. So you can see I only cut. So you could call that a partial cut. You could have so many ideas. Here come the ideas. You could fold that back and make a flap. We want to extend this. Now this time, I'm going to line up these ridges and see if I can't get a good... All right, if you cut here, you're going to cut this off. So we don't want to do that. We want to make sure, and if you stagger your plates like this, you'll make sure that you don't cut where you don't want to. All right, so then I'm going to run this through my machine. I'm almost done. Hang with me. But I'm going to stop, and I'm going to go back. Because if I kept going, I would cut that line, and I don't want to do that. I wanted to... Did it work? It did not. I didn't roll far enough. So I'm going to... Actually, if I do that, that might work. So I'm not going to put the plate over this end. And now I can run this whole thing through. If I can get it... Oh, I was rolling the wrong way. Sorry if my video's long. I think I'm trying to rush myself. Now here, you can see I extended that die cut. So many options. Use play around with your dies, and if you don't want to use your good cardstock, use a piece of scrap paper or junk mail and see what kind of shapes you can get from your dies. So you can make them smaller, you can make them bigger, and you can layer them. Thank you for joining me. Happy stamping!